Beautiful Sunday here in Boulder, Colorado. Today I'm going to open with a Prelude from J.S. Bach. And I love playing classical guitar. It's a wonderful way to practice meditation through music. It also connects me with the infinite love of God through the ages. So I'm going to play this for everyone just to open today's service and just take a nice breath in. Think of things you're grateful for as I play the music. So I'll do the same. This is Prelude, number 1.
Thank you, Todd, for sharing that incredible music. I just want to invite all of you to realize that unity is a community, and that's the chief element in what we do. And you don't have to be in physical communication. You need to be in spiritual communication. That's what our community is about. We acknowledge that everyone on this planet is part of the family of divine beings moving through a human experience. And we're here to share with each other and help each other to do that. But I will tell you something about unity, how unique Unity of Boulder actually is. I remember about a year ago we had, this was long before the coronavirus, but we had people sitting out there and it was nice, filled up congregation. And I had a special thing to do. They were going to do a little 5-minute TV thing in my office before the service. And as people were coming in, I said, oh, I don't have a necktie. I need a necktie. I have to get a necktie from somebody. Well, the entire place filled up. We didn't have a single person out there with a necktie, which says something. But here's the thing. The following week, we had a guitar player come up to play, and he does this. Oh, he says, does anybody have a pick? About 200 people stand up. 200 people with guitar picks. So it says something about unity. No neckties, but everybody's got a guitar pick. And we're relaxed here. You know, we are very relaxed. We flow. And so we're inviting all of you out there. Why don't you contact your friends, text them, let them know you're part of this wonderful unity community, and they would enjoy themselves tuning in to this fantastic talk that Syntysche is going to give. Have a beautiful morning.
Good morning. Morning, everybody. I think you know this one. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. Though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be.
Thank you, Nicole, for that incredible music. I always love that song. I love singing it backstage, getting in the mood to share a sermon that only Spirit knows it will be, getting in that presence of getting out of my own way and knowing that the universe is always the director and the container and the energy. We can always put our energy into creating, but eventually we have to let go and let something else take over, the greater power. You know, it's like putting your feet underneath your prayers, doing what you need to do, but then also being in a state of allowance for things to move in and through and to direct us to even more than we could ever imagine for ourselves. So today, my talk title is Answering the Call, because you are worth it. Calls, of course, beg the question, who or what is calling? But in attempting to answer this question, even an exhaustive list of every name for soul or destiny or God would be beside the point. It simply doesn't matter whether we call it God, the patterning intelligence, the design mind, the unconscious, whatever word you use that makes you feel connected, hugged, and loved. But all of it comes down to life's longing for itself. Kahlil Gibran said that. So life's longing for itself. You know, inside of us, there's always this percolating feeling of something is coming, something is to be born, something is anew, at all phases of life. And yet, many of us can get stagnant in just the pattern of life and keep going on the way that we always have because it works and it may be mundane and it may even be boring, but it's almost easier to keep on going on than having to really listen to the call, because the call is faint. And although you may feel the inner urging for a more divine direction, it's easy to stay distracted by the busyness of our lives. Unfortunately, we often simply tune out the longings we feel because we fear what they might demand of us in pursuing them. Right? When we're young, I don't think so as much because of the fact that we are more curious. We are more open. We're less damaged. We're less broken down from things that didn't work out. So we've kind of like set ourselves up at a certain point in age. We get to a point where we talk ourselves out of dreaming or talk ourselves out of listening to the call of the universe, which shows up in dreams. It shows up in conversations with others where you're like, wow, that resonates. That's something that's calling me right now. Or you pick up a book and it's just right on this thing that's waning, that doesn't have the life force behind it. In the Bible, in Jeremiah, it says it this way: "Call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known." So sometimes we don't know how to access this thing that's percolating. We don't even necessarily know what that direction is or that path that is trying to get us maybe just to fine-tune the direction that we're going to even create a greater and more powerful experience in this universe. But that's because we're calling on ourselves to move ourselves on the path versus going and calling God, calling Spirit, and the energy and the wisdom of this universe that is always trying to get our attention. The only reason why we stop hearing the call is because we've shut out the caller. Right? So how do we access it? What do we do to build the faith that this greater something is always giving us this encouragement, this primal knowing that there's something more to be experienced no matter what age we are? But it takes persistence. And persistence makes us take the time to do our spiritual practice, to walk in nature, to take our shoes off, to earth, they call it earthing, to let Mother Earth's wisdom move in and through our bodies. People that are outdoorsmen or camping people, people of Boulder basically are that, People will say, sometimes I don't go to church because sometimes I just go to the mountains, and that's my church. And absolutely, that's church too. But it's taking that time to commune in as many ways as we can with this greater energy, this greater love that is always trying to get our attention. And it's in stillness that it speaks. It's in the quiet that it speaks. So the results depend upon your faith and your persistence and your acceptance. Accept that now is your time to prosper. Therefore, in faith, you will boldly take steps in establishing yourself in the more abundant life of God intended for you, right? But the abundance and prosperity it has an energy that we're just talking about money. But metaphysically, prosperity means the difference between spiritual prosperity and the material idea of prosperity is that spiritual prosperity is founded on understanding of the inexhaustible, omnipresent substance of spirit as the source of supply. The material idea is that the possession of things constitutes prosperity. So we're looking at the omnipresent substance of spirit that's always there to encourage these callings. So, when I was talking about a minute ago about the idea that we don't pursue these callings sometimes because we're worried about what we're going to have to change to open up to the calling. Because if we keep on working our 50-hour jobs and we keep on, distracting ourselves with this, that, and the other thing, and we're like, I don't really have time for me, or for my self-growth, or for the awakening of my life experience, then you're not opening up to the omnipresent substance of spirit. So we can kind of get stuck in a rut where we're sharing how we can't seem to shift things in our lives, and yet what we're saying is what we're creating, or what we're feeling about it is what we're creating. And spirit is the source of supply in the material, in the spiritual, in the physical, in all of it, right? So there's a point where we have to get out of our own way and get out of the limitation of a pattern, right? We're pattern oriented. We tend to do the same thing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But to change it up, well, what if I tried doing this differently? When I first wake up, instead of running to my coffee, maybe I'll run to my meditation first. And sacrifice the coffee for a moment, because they talk about the vacuum that's created. When we get rid of something, it makes room for us to be more open to receive something, right? So we can tend to be somebody that, we'll purchase things and it makes us feel better, but in the end, it really doesn't make us feel better. Or we will eat an awesome meal and we'll eat another awesome meal and it felt really good in the moment, but then afterwards, we really, really feel like we're just overfull. But if we purge something, get rid of something that we might even be a little bit attached to, what we get ourselves in is a state of allowance. So there's room for this new consciousness, this new mind, this new idea to start percolating and actually start growing within you. So, many people are going through lots of change right now, and we all have been for many, many, many months. But this week, I've noticed that a lot of the conversations I'm having are people saying that something shifted for them. I don't know if it's in consciousness, I don't know if it's astrological, I don't know what it is. But they're noticing the more they're thinking about something, that they're having it, that there's a quicker response to their actions into the reactions. And that can be good or it can be negative, depending on what you're speaking out to the universe, right? So if you're speaking out to the universe that I'm ready for this new venture, right? Stating that to the universe. I'm ready for whatever you see is showing up, like maybe a great trip or a job change or you name it. You fill in your life in whatever I'm talking about right here. But to claim it, that you are ready, right? Because we're talking about this as a time of a new birth in each and every single one of us. So the old ways, the old ideas, the old ways we did things are going to no longer serve us. But what's really exciting about it is also there's a new way that we're discovering. And the more faith and persistence in us visiting this greater potential within ourselves, the greater the outpicturing is going to be and the faster it's going to be. The more clear we get to that which you want to put out to the universe. If it's work, if it's your children doing well in school, if it's health, if it's, you fill in the blanks again. So in the book, Money and the Law of Attraction, it tells a story. Norman Cousins was an author who contracted a disease that was considered to be incurable, but he survived it. And he said he was able to do so by watching a series of humorous television programs. I understand that he just watched these programs and laughed, and the disease went away. What would you say was behind his recovery? His recovery was accomplished because he achieved vibrational alignment with well-being. There are two primary factors involved in his finding vibrational alignment. First, his desire for wellness was dramatically enhanced by his illness. And second, the programs he watched distracted him from the illness. The pleasure that he felt as he laughed at the humor of the programs was his indication that his disallowance of well-being had ceased. Those are the two factors that are required in the creation of anything. Want it and allow it. Anyone who can come to expect well-being can achieve it under any conditions. The trick is to expect well-being, or, as the man in your example did, simply distract yourself from the lack of well-being. Whenever I teach prosperity classes, I say to them after, I usually do a talk, and then we do work groups together. And one of the first lists everybody writes down is everything that they do not want anymore. We start with that. Because of the idea that to know what you don't want is the beginning of discovering of what you do. And I point out, this is going to be the last time you write this down. Say this to anybody, discuss it in your own mind, and think about these things that you no longer want, because you're here to access what you do want. So let's just get the complaining out first, and then we're going to write down what you do want through the next 5 weeks. That's what we do in the class. And they slowly open up to, if I truly loved myself, what would I allow myself to actually have? And again, I'm not talking about financial prosperity here unless that's a dire need right now for you. But if I truly loved myself and recognized that I am a perfect child of God and that I am worthy of all the beauty that this universe can create in our lives, then what is it that I actually want? And you know what? Most people don't know. And then they wonder why they're having the same experience in every relationship. They're with a different guy, but it's the same problems that are showing up with the new guy. Or a new job, and it's the same problems that are happening in the new job that happened at the old job. Because the consciousness is not changed. Because the consciousness is still living in a state of limitation and unworthiness. To know thyself is the greatest affirmation. That is what life is about, is the understanding, learning who you truly are, the soul that's at the core of who you are. The third unity principle does not say that we create our conditions by the activity of our thinking. It says that we create our experiences by the activity of our thinking. There's a world of difference, literally. When I ask, why did God allow me to get this illness, I am really asking about the physical world of conditions. The world of conditions is real enough, and it is not an illusion. But for now, just know that Unity's teachings on a direct correspondence between our thinking and our conditions has been ambiguous. But when I ask, how can God transform this difficult thing into good? I am then asking about the mental world of experience, about the world that unity says can help us overcome anything that lives in limitation. Jesus taught us that we are the way, the truth, and the life, that we can work the same miracles as him, and yet many of us still live small and speak to the limitations about ourselves, not necessarily to others, but to how we feel about ourselves in our relationship to our parents, to our spouses, to our children, because of something that cut us in our life that said to us that there was something less than. But that thing that's less than, unfortunately, tends to have more power than the thousands of times you've made yourself proud of yourself and you've actually been shown that the universe is always working for you. Why is it that somebody can insult us and all we hear is that for the entire week? But 20 people can compliment us and we don't even repeat that over and over in our minds. Who can relate with what I'm saying here? Right? Because somehow the life form of something saying that we are less than has become more powerful than knowing the powerful mother we are, or the powerful wife that we are, or the powerful leader that we are, or whatever it is. So years ago, I was doing a counseling session with a woman in her late 60s. And I asked her why she had come in and what she wanted to chat about. And she responded, "I just feel like my family takes me for granted." She said, "I'm a faithful woman. I have always gone to church on Sunday. I own a small home in Boulder that looks like I will have to sell and go back to Illinois where my family lives. My brother is very ill and his wife has left him, and my family called on me to leave my job and home and take this on." She said, "Although when my parents were dying, my brother never helped them, and I had to uproot then and leave my life for 3 years and take care of them and then start my life all over again. And here I am doing this again." She gave an example of her giving up what was important to her to take the responsibilities of an entire family that all the others felt their lives were much more important than hers. How many people have met a person like this, where they just are these humble, beautiful servants to everybody, and yet people take advantage of it because they're like, well, they'll always show up, so I don't have to show up. And you see these dynamics in families sometimes. So she says at one point, I never did get married or have children, so I was freer to answer the call of every need of the family. And when she said that, I felt this sense of the air got knocked out of my body. I could feel the loneliness and the sadness in what she was saying, that she was a victim of how this family was treating her. But in the end, we are never victims. We never really are. It's just that you just haven't learned how to sign up and speak up for who you truly are. So she's missed out on the most beautiful parts of life, right? So I said to her, what is it that made them think that your life isn't more important? And she said to me, "I'm gay." And it was not something that could be discussed in our family. And I know that they know that I am because they just never even crossed the topic my whole life if I have a partner or I have a person in my life. It was just kind of an unspoken thing that she was just going to live her life in hiding, pretty much, and just fulfill whatever they felt her role was going to be in the family. And so I said to her, "Have you been in relationships through all these years?" And she said, no. She'd been alone her whole life under this feeling that somehow there was something wrong with her because it was even unspeakable in her family. Late 60s, has gone her whole life without companionship, has missed out on having a family, without having relatives for Christmas and all the wonderful things that happen in life. And when she told me this, I just had tears just start coming down my face. And we just sat together and we wept together. And I saw her. I let her feel her truth. This is one of the saddest, I have many counseling sessions where you just go, I can't believe somebody would let themselves be so little on their totem pole, their love for themselves, that they would sacrifice a lifetime to please other people. So we got to talking about it, and I shared with her, you aren't too young or too old for anything. Your age is simply a number and does not factor into your value as a human being. You are the only one who determines your self-worth. If you believe you are worthy and valuable, you are worthy and valuable. Even if you don't believe you are worthy and valuable, guess what? You still are. For a few years we met. She didn't end up going because we talked about the power and the love she deserves to have in her life. And she loved her job, and she loved her home. And that if she quit signing up to always be the person that covered for all of the things that were the hard parts in the family, someone else will follow through, right? She became the vacuum. I'm actually going to choose myself as the vacuum, and the rest of the family is going to have to fill in that void, right? And within a year, she was in a relationship, she had lost a ton of weight, and she was glowing and alive, and now is retired and traveling and having the life that she always deserved. So again, it comes down to what Kahlil Gibran, it's life's longing for itself. Where have you put yourself on the back burner? Too much so that you don't get to feel the beloved, bountiful energy of this universe that's always and completely supporting us, because somehow you feel that you're less than. The second that you change the energy around that, everything changes. A similar heroic quality of intelligence is required in the face of a calling, which flings often opposing energies into our lives. One part of us wants to awaken, another to sleep. One part of us wants to follow, another wants to run like hell. One part may be certain of a call by way of inner knowing, while another is completely dumbstruck by the lack of objective proof. We understand the call psychologically, but not logically. One part of us may feel it is chosen, and another that it is ordained. We may feel both the forces of impulsiveness and caution, of idealism joined at the hip with cynicism. We may feel we have to do the irrational to bring some rational to our lives. It's absurd to pursue your art, the painter William de Kooning once said, but it's absurd not to. When we stretch our arms to reach for anything, some muscles contract and some expand. When we stretch our arms to reach for anything, some muscles contract and some expand. And, the thing about that is that's a good, visual for us to think about us. Our spirits, we will get a sense that we're ready to start flowing in a direction that we've been feeling called, and we know which direction we have to go. And some things fall away, and we can handle it, and things are changing, and we know we have to have faith that we have to keep walking onto this process and meditate, keep staying, connected to this greater power and being divinely guided as we keep going forward. But then finally, it just gets a little bit scarier and scarier. And it's like that contraction, it's contraction. And that contraction is the part of us that has, once again, believed in something that's less than. And so we have to speak to it, and we have to visualize it, and we have to say, you have no voice in my life anymore, because I'm a beautiful child of God. And I really want to be truly happy, and I want to be truly open to that which my soul is supposed to do in development this lifetime. So I feel you, constricting, and I feel that happening in my being, and I'm going to sit with that and face those feelings of uncomfortable energy, because that's how we heal the broken parts of ourselves. It's not to run from it. We keep moving down the path, but when we feel that restriction, to sit and face it. What am I feeling right now? What is it that this is saying to me? Is this true? How do I actually know that this is true? This thing that I'm speaking to myself, because it probably isn't. Because when you face something, it starts to dissolve. But when we're uncomfortable in our beings and in our spirits, we tend to try to run from the feeling of uncomfortable. But within those uncomfortable places within ourselves are the answers to everything we're seeking to be able to move into the grandeur, into the enlightened phase as a being where you are not in your own way anymore, because you realize you are a vehicle of spirit to move in and through absolutely everything that you're doing at all times. It's like, I think if you've been here last week or the last few weeks, we talked about how Shad, my brother, who was co-ministering with me, was, had an opportunity to try out for this job at Unity Village, and it seemed a little bit far-fetched, so he just applied with it all, but he did let me know, I just want to let you know, I'm going to be applying for this thing, and I won't know for a few months. And I had all those feelings come up when he told me, which was, oh, this has a major effect on my life, right? You've had that where other people have a big part in your life that's like, and now I'm going to have to wait and find out what he's going to do so I can figure out what I'm going to do, which wasn't going to work for me. The old person, my older, younger, more insecure self would have done that. But it was, no, if he's having this awesome opportunity, there must be an awesome opportunity in this for me, right? That's a different way to look at it. It's like, oh, I could have looked at it like, what am I going to do now? Or, oh, I can't wait to see the good that's going to come from this. There's so many reasons why there's going to be good in this, right? Because I do not depend upon persons or conditions for my prosperity. That's something we learn as we work through this process of nobody outside of you can take your good from you unless you let it. Nothing in the world, even all the things that are happening in the world right now, cannot take your good away from you unless you let it. That's why we talk up to like not watching TV too much and getting into the guttural feelings of all of our good is behind us and what's going to happen in the future. When we know collectively we're adding to that fear and that negativity, the nature of the universe, when we are looking upon that. So it's best probably to stay in a meditative state and have faith that something greater is at hand right now. And it is in everything. But something greater is at hand in your personal lives right now, too. This is an awakening. This is a time where we've had time to contemplate what no longer serves us. And then when we realize what no longer serves us, then we get to discover what we want. God is the source of my supply. God provides his own amazing channels of supply to me now. I'm a rich child of this loving God. So I dare to prosper now, not tomorrow, not after the election, or we're waiting for some distant day when we finally have the degree, or we have whatever we're saying will be pretty enough, or we're with the partner, or we're with all these different things. It's like, well, when that happens, then I will be happy. When that happens, then I'll be prosperous. When this happens, this distant day thing can just keep you in a life where you never enjoy this moment. So if this is the only moment that you have, then what do you want? We dissolve in our own mind that any idea that my own can have cannot be withheld. Nobody can withhold anything from me but me. And not only that, nothing will be withheld, and when I actually let go and release, the universe will come and meet me and fulfill whatever this calling is in us, so that you're moving in that instead of still trying to figure out what you should do with everything and getting out of your way and letting Spirit guide and direct you. So the thing with Shad and I, it was all in divine order. It was a divine plan. Everything that happened with it all fell into place so seamlessly, like an orchestra. It was like in harmony. Everything, because I got out of my way and all I said was, I'm ready. I've been ready. I'm ready to do this ministry without Shad. And I'm glad to do it with my mom and dad still. And I'm in allowance of whatever that picture looks like. And I'm excited, right? And if he got the job, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. But either way, I already made my decision. I'm ready for all of it. Because within all of it is a part of a divine plan. Oh, that's sitting strange. Okay, this is divine order. It's not about what you do, it's about what God is able to do through you. It's about complete freedom from all bondage, even the self-imposed bondage that comes through trying to please God or trying to be something that you are not. It's not about what you do, it's about what God is able to do through you. And how do we make that happen? How are we open to letting God do it through us? It's the idea of making room, getting rid of these things that no longer serve. The relationships that you know have been over and done, and you keep going back for more, and you're going, energetically, this is not a fit anymore. And you watch when you make room and say, you know what, I'm going to choose my peace and happiness over this adrenaline or whatever you're feeling in that relationship so that I can be an allowance for all of the good and the abundance and the beauty to enter my life. You know when it's in divine order, when things just naturally fall away. But so often we hold on to the things that are falling away because I don't want to feel this life without, I want to know what everything is. I want to know where they're going. I want to control it. I want to be God. But when things are falling away, that's also divine order. Because divine order is pulling things out of your life to make room so that you may stand in the majesty of what you are. To move in and through this universe seamlessly, and every day discovering anew the power of this energy that's available every second, every moment. But it's about being truthful with yourself and others. Complete and total transparency with self. What is getting you stuck at the crossroads? What is the fear or the thoughts that are keeping you from moving forward with your calling? What do you have to give up to make room for your blessings? Everything has an ebb and a flow. And you can't collect and collect more and more info and more energy and more things and more that and think you're going to keep collecting. Eventually, you have to release the things that have been knocking at you over and over that are over and let them go. Because your miracles cannot move into your life if there is no room. That's the spiritual evolution. Is having faith that it's okay to let go of things. people, situations that you can intuitively feel no longer are a part of your awakening. And you don't have to worry about what's going to fill that as long as you lean into God, into the silence, and let the universe fill that exactly the way that it has always meant to. But now you finally get it. Sometimes we have to do things that are hard. But in 2 years or a year from now, you look back and go, I wish I had done that so much sooner. Why did I keep chomping at this thing that no longer served my life and grew my life? So I want to, ask you today to, like the call to action for yourself before you leave today. What are you ready to claim for yourself today? What is something that's been lingering in your consciousness that you're ready to claim? What is this calling that's percolating in you and is ready to be built through your prana, the fire in your system? All you have to do is plant the seed of the idea of what this thing that's percolating in you. And then let the prana just take it on and move it in and through your subconsciousness into consciousness. So I want to take us into meditation and just close our eyes and hold on to this thing that you've brought up today, what your call to action is, what it is that you're ready to claim for yourself. Or if you don't know what that is, then go into this meditation and stay in a state of allowance. I cleanse my mind for spiritual prosperity. I cleanse my heart for the feeling place of an abundant life within me. I know that release is magnetic. Through the act of release, I draw to myself my own. I now fully and freely release. I lose and I let go. I let go and I grow. I let go and trust. I now let go of worn out things, worn out conditions, worn out relationships. Divine order is now established and maintained in me and in my world. If you owned a mountain cabin and wanted to make it fresh and habitable after a long winter, would you have to induce the air to enter the doors or plead with the light to stream in the windows? The moment you opened the doors and windows, the wind and sunshine would surge in of their own accord. This is a good picture of God's relation to our lives. Prayer is simply opening our lives that we may receive what God has always been trying to bestow. Conditioning our lives with God. For what is prayer but the expansion of yourself into the living ether, into the living magic, into the connection to the unseen realms that are moving in and around and through absolutely everything in your life, if you will let it. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. So lean into that greater power, that greater love of God. And let the universe take over. Amen. We will take an offering right now. Before we take an offering, I just want to thank you ahead of time for your faithfulness in the spiritual work we do here. We appreciate that you take care of this Unity Center through your devotion of giving of time, talents, and really importantly, treasure. We do operate in the world, and so therefore we do have an extended overhead to keep this large building open and our staff taken care of, and this wonderful band and all the wonderful things that you enjoy. So if it blesses you, we please ask you to take care of it, and we already thank you for already taking care of it. So with that said, let's take our offerings in our hands and bless it with this offering statement. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And again, we have a chance to listen to Nicole and the Unity Band.
Hello again. This song was written by Bob Dylan and repopularized by Adele. It's called Make You Feel My Love.
When
you. All right, well, that completes our service. We're going to stand up and sing I Release and I Let Go. And we will have fellowship right outside on the patio outdoors. So we'll be out there to meet with you and chat with you if you'd like to visit with one another and build a community and all those good things. So I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. And so it is.
Okay, we've got a couple of prayer partners over here. To have a prayer with someone you want to share it with, and to get by something that you're dealing with, just remain seated, and our prayer partner will come up to you, guide you down to our beautiful meditation room, and share a prayer with you. So, have a wonderful day. We'll see you out on the patio, those who want to stay.